Hey guys, a little update on the Mark 1 grip project. This has been pretty complicated, and I had to let it percolate, and I've also had a lot of family stuff going on because it's the end of the year. My son graduated. He is going into middle school. He graduated from 5th grade, and they had a party, and they had a graduation ceremony, and there was all this last-minute stuff. So it was very exciting, but it also kind of took me off track from shop work. This is the router bit I was waiting on. It showed up last Friday, but I was going out of town. I didn't get back till Monday. This is the mortising bit I got. Works really nice. I like it. I like the thick shank on it. Make sure it doesn't vibrate. There's all the templates I showed you guys before. Here's my first test grip. Okay, I made this piece of wood by taking 2 chunks of this and gluing it together, so that I'd have something nice and thick that I could work with and get a feel for it and get an idea of how the walnut's going to machine and just everything, all the little things that I might have overlooked and needed to adjust and address and everything. And so, just like I was saying before, I started by laying this out on the piece, drilling the 2 holes, securing it, and routing it up so it was perfectly square, and everything on my drawing was lined up to the edges of my block. Then I put this on it, and let me see, I put this on it, put this baby on it, and I routed it out using the mortising bit and created the landing that goes all the way around. Then I used this and the mortising bit, and I set it a 16th, and I made the little pocket. And then I thought I was going to make a little pocket here, but it turns out that the pocket I need to make is smaller than the size of this bit. So I got to get a different bit to be able to run that particular operation. But I went ahead and did it anyway by setting up a fence and running it just to make the pocket so I could get everything else to fit. So this is not right, just from the get-go. I knew it wouldn't be. So I got all that done. Then I put this on it, traced it, and cut it out, leaving about a 16th all around. And then I put it on the router, and I used this guy here and blasted it to the profile, pretty much close, not quite. You can see there's a little ridge there. That's from me not having sanded it down. This outside shave, don't even worry about it. I just did this just to get a feel for what I'm going to have to do, but this is not the actual. It's pretty close, but it's not the actual shape. I didn't want to break out all my spindle sanders and everything just for this. I just whipped it out on the this guy. So let's see where I had some success and where I need to make some changes. Okay, well, first of all, it does what I want it to do, which is keep the wood in there and not have it fall off. Okay, I didn't want the screws to have to do a lot of work. Because of the height of this and this, I've got to put an 1/8 inch spacer on these now, which I didn't do for this because I just wanted to test. But when I'm actually trying to get 2 sides out of this, I'm really limited to how thick everything can be. So I cannot waste 1/8 of an inch just because my router bit happens to be a little tall. I'm going to have to adhere an 1/8 of an inch piece of plastic to this with some glue, route it off, and make all of these thicker. Okay, I'm going to have to make all my patterns thicker that deal with this bit, so that I can set my depth in such a way that I'm only creating an 1/8 of an inch of wood sticking out instead of this about 1/4 of an inch. But that gave me a great idea of how well this thing is going to fit, and it fits great. There's a slight angle to this casting, and so as you push it in, it gets tighter and tighter, which is a good thing. But when you're a 1/4 inch, it doesn't fit that great because I would need to bevel this whole edge, and I don't want to do that. I just want it to be 1/8 of an inch, and when it pushes in, it'll be tight. Okay, so that's one thing that needs to change. I know I gotta do all that, and it's gonna take a little while, but I'll get it. As far as the pocket for the safety, that worked out dynamite, perfect, absolutely money. This lays right up on the metal, perfect, love it, nice. Okay, in the back, you'll notice that there's a little gap there. That's because of this being so, you can see kind of the shiny marks where the metal has been rubbing on it, right in here and right in here. It's because it's so, has to go in so far into the gun. You know, if you squeeze it really hard, it'll get darn close to fitting, but it's just a little too much wood trying to go in the gun. Also, I did not finish sanding this, so you'll see this little step here. You can kind of ignore that. That has nothing to do with the fit, the final fit. What I am seeing is that I gotta really figure out some system here to get this perfect. This is highly visible. Every time you put a CO2 cartridge into the pistol, you're going to be looking right at this. This has to fit really super nice. And at this point, I got hand carving to do on it and stuff. I would love to figure out how to make those angles with a machine instead of having to cut them with a chisel, because it would just take that last little bit of human error out of the picture, I feel. If you ignore the fact that the thing is, you know, is a 1/4 inch thick trying to go into this frame, if I do push areas of it together, it fits really nice. It's going to fit good. It's going to fit good right up against it. Where it doesn't fit good is this right here. You can see right at this. Okay. Well, I'm going to need a smaller bit. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to buy 2 bits to do this, but this bit is just too big. I need a 3/4 inch bit. This is just not going to look right. What do I mean by that? Well, like right here at the bottom of it, where it kisses it, just starts touching it, that's fine, but then it grows away from it, and then it's too wide here. And if I set it up so that I'm just skimming it, it doesn't fit right. So I moved the router bit up, and I got what I got, and it's no good. It doesn't look good. It's about a heavy 1/16 inch gap right there. Plus, it makes a little whoosh in there, so I've got to stop I've got marks and stuff to show me how far to route the piece in, and I've got to stop earlier, and I've got to use a smaller diameter bit. So I do have to buy another bit. Yay. So I got to buy at least one more bit, but I got to probably buy one more small mortising bit. So it looks like I've got to buy 2 more router bits to really do the final thing. I was hoping that that was not going to be the case, but overall, I'm getting there. Some of the really hardest parts came out great. Some of the parts that I was most concerned with came out great, and it was sort of like the parts that I figured, yeah, that'll work, didn't. So this didn't work. And I've got to figure out how to do this exactly right. So that's still got to percolate in my brain a little while, and I'll work that out. It's not impossible. It's just a matter of coming up with the exact right procedure and all the shop aids that I might need to make that happen. But I know I can make it happen. All right. So this is the actual piece of wood that I want to use. This is the piece that I want to cut 2 grip panels out of. You got a thick one, you got a thin one, and match them up. And I've got enough to make 4 sets. So if I screw up, I can keep going. If I screw up twice, I can keep going. If I screw up 3 times, I got to go find another nice piece of wood that has this kind of beautiful grain to it. Alright. And I just had these other pieces out just to show you the kind of variation you can expect out of walnut. This is a really nice piece of walnut. Very dark, almost all the way through. A few light stripes. This is also a really nice piece, but you can see light stripes, light stripes. Okay, here's a piece that has a really distinct light dark area. I'm saving this for a grip for my pistol. And then you got this, which is really nice, chocolatey, and then you can see the high definition change. And what looks like maybe a wind check right in there, which is why I'm starting down here. Although that'll all be stabilized, so it won't matter. But you can kind of see what we're going to discover as we go through it. We're going to get light and we're going to get dark. So one side of the gun is going to be lighter, and one side of the gun is going to be darker with a little light stripe in it. And I'm hoping that looks really awesome because the grain will all match up. If it doesn't, I'll just get more wood and I will make more grips until it does look awesome. So where we're at with this is that I'm not rushing. I just can't, because I got to percolate. This is just too complicated for my brain to absorb all at one time. And plus, there's all these little things that I actually have to physically test. And I think things have finally slowed down here because it is summer. My wife's got to work to the end of the week. She's a teacher, and then she'll be off. She can do stuff with the children while I am down here fiddling away. So I'm hoping it won't be too much longer before I can become 110% focused on nothing but work, which is how I like it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for supporting Mountain Storm. I've got another extremely custom stock to come up with. It's even more complicated than this, if you can believe it. So that will probably take me a while too. But once I get these things, and once I know how to do them, I can repeat them. That's the whole purpose of this. I've got to make 2 sets. They've got to be perfect. That means I can make as many sets as people want from then on.